So this is one of my favorites, and that is finding the outstanding balance on a loan. Now the principle here is that the outstanding balance on the loan is simply the present value of all the payments that are yet to be made. Okay, so that makes sense again because the amount that you owe the bank has to correspond somehow with what you are going to pay them in the future. And it makes sense that the present value of the payments that you're going to make in the future in order to pay off the loan is going to be equal to the outstanding balance, the amount that you owe. So the loan amount is the outstanding balance on day 0 before we've made any payments, and we use PV of all the payments to be made for that. Okay, so what this is just saying is that if we have a loan, right, on the day that we get that amount that we owe, right, that is the present value of all the payments you're still going to make. So if you want the present value at some point in the future, the outstanding balance, then that again is just going to be the present value of the payments yet to be made. Let's see how this works. So Kagiso takes out a home loan to buy a home of 1,060,000. The loan is to be paid off over 20 years with monthly installments of 7,903 Rand and 8 cents at an interest rate of 6.5% per annum, compounded monthly. So Kagiso wins the lottery and he pays off his home loan in full after he has made the 60th payment. What amount did he pay to settle the loan? Okay, so the amount that he paid in order to settle the loan, well, that's got to be the outstanding balance on the loan right after he's made that 60th payment. Right, so let's draw a timeline here, okay? And Kagiso took out a 20-year loan and he had to make monthly payments. So 20 times 12, I think should be 240, right? So 20 times 12 is 240, so that would have been 240 periods over which he had to make these payments. So yeah, it's a long road to property ownership. Okay, so T0, we know there wasn't a payment. We made our first payment at the end of the period as per usual. So our first payment here was at T1, okay, and that's when he did the 7903,08. Okay, so what do we know? We know that he made it up until the 60th payment, right? And then right after that, he wins the lottery and he pays out the rest, right? So after the 60th payment, well, what did he owe the bank? So our principle is that the outstanding balance is the present value of what you're still going to pay the bank, right? So if he's made 60 payments, the payments that are yet to be made are all of the payments that he is going to make in that period there. So if we go 240 minus 60, that's going to be 180 payments. Okay, so the outstanding balance on the loan right after this 60th payment, which is the amount that he paid off with his fortune, that is going to be the present value of the next 180 payments that he should have made, or, well, if he wasn't so lucky. Okay, so we're using present value, right? And the X there is going to be the 7903,08, right? And then we know we've got to go 1 minus, because it's present value, 1 plus, and it's a 6.5% interest rate, very competitive. 6.5% over the 12, because it's compounded monthly, and then we're dealing here with 180 periods, not the whole 240, because we're finding the present value after 60 had already been made. So this is going to be negative 180. Cool. And then we're going to have 6.8% over 12 in the denominator. Okay, so let's see how much of Kagiso's lottery winnings had to go straight back to the bank. I am going to proclaim that the present value here was 936,542,76, right? And that then, I see I wrote 8 here, there should be 5. That is the amount that Kagiso had to pay in order to completely pay off his loan. So after he'd already made 60 payments, that 936,542.76 is what he still owed on the loan. Okay, right. So now we are going to look at the total interest paid. Right? So here the principle is that some of the money paid on a loan reduces the amount you actually owed, right? And that's called the capital amount. And the rest of the money is pocketed by the bank as interest. And that is, well, how they make their money. Otherwise, why would they lend you money if they weren't going to profit off it in some way, right? So when you make a payment, some of it reduces what you owe and some of it is interest. That's what the bank earns, right? So the total amount paid is going to be equal to that reduction in the capital amount plus the interest paid, right? That's just showing that whatever money you pay can only do one of two things. It can reduce what you owe, or it can become the bank's profit, the interest paid, right? And then the reduction in capital amount, that is going to be calculated by taking the original loan amount minus the outstanding balance. That makes sense. If you take how much you owed at the start minus what you owe now, that must be how much you've managed to pay off, that you don't owe anymore. Right, so let's see an example. So Johnny finances a new S-Works mountain bike. The loan amount is 200,000 Rand, paid off monthly over 4 years at an interest rate of 18% per annum, compounded monthly. After Johnny makes the 24th payment, how much interest has he actually paid on the loan? Right, so here we said that the total payments is going to be equal to the reduction in loan amount plus the interest that he actually paid. Right. Now, the total payments are pretty easy to find. We've just got to take his payments and multiply that by the 24 that is made, right? Now here we've got the fantastic situation where we don't actually know what the monthly payment is. So first we've got to go find that. Okay, so to do that we're going to do a present value calculation because we know that 200,000 Rand is the present value of all the payments he still has to make, right? So we're going to have 200,000, that's the present value, equals the amount that he has to pay, which we don't know what that is, and that's going to be 1 minus the 1 plus 0.18. Okay, let me be consistent, 18% over the 12 because it's compounded monthly, and we have a 4-year term, so 4 times 12 is going to be negative 48. Right, and then that has to be divided by this 18% over 12, and then what we've got to do is we've got to solve for x, right? So we're going to take that 200,000, we're going to multiply it by what's in the denominator, which is the 18% over 12, right? And then we've got to divide it by everything in the big bracket to get x by itself. So that's divided by the 1 minus 1 plus 0.18 over 12. Okay, error 1 again, which is fine. So please just cut me doing the calculator thing. You can take me off screen until I actually have the answer or something like that. Okay, so here. Okay, so here we then find that the payment x has to then be 5875,00. So we've got 5875,00 5875,00. Okay, so that's going to be the payment, right? So now we need to figure out, well, how much did he actually pay, the total payments, right? So that's after the 24th payment. So he would have paid already 24 times 5875, right? So that's going to be 24 times 5875. So that's going to be 141,000 Rand that he's already paid for a bicycle. And that's going to be equal to the reduction in the loan amount. So that's going to be the original loan amount, the 200,000, minus the outstanding balance on the loan. Now, again, the outstanding balance on the loan is the present value of everything that he still has to pay, right? So that's going to be this 5875, right, times the 1 minus 1 plus. We've got 18%. Over 12, and then how many payments remain? Another 24, right? So you got halfway through, and that's going to be over the 0.1, keep doing that, 18% over 12, right? Plus the interest. Okay, so in order to succeed here, we're going to have to go and figure out what the outstanding balance on that loan was, right? So we've got the 24 periods, right? And we know that he has to pay the 5875, right? And it looks like the outstanding balance on his loan would have been 117,678.63. Okay, right. So after that time, we can now put everything in except the thing we're trying to calculate, which is a nice situation. So 200,000 minus the 117,678.63 plus the interest. And then to find the interest, we just have to take what's in the bracket, take it to the other side, subtract. So he's paid 141,000 minus the 200,000 minus the outstanding balance, 117,678.63. And we know then that the interest that he's paid, the enrichment that he has added to the bank, is going to be 58,678,60. So that's the interest that he has paid. Okay, cool. So that's one reason not to finance a mountain bike. Let's keep going.